Hello, and welcome to TerminalBeats.com. Today I'm going over 5 tips on how to record clean vocals no matter what kind of microphone you're using, so stay tuned. The first step in recording clean vocals is making sure that you have a pop filter. No matter what kind of microphone you have, you can always incorporate a pop filter. Now these are really cheap, you can pick them up on Amazon, that's where I got this one, or eBay, or wherever, and these can just affix right to the microphone stand, and they just screw on, clamp into place. And what this does is you want to have it about 4 or 5 inches away from the microphone, depending on what kind of vocals you're recording, but for rap you probably want to have it about 5 inches or so away from the mic. And what this does is whenever you say P's or D's or any word that's going to expel a lot of air, this is going to stop that air. These usually have 2 layers, and it's going to stop that air from getting right to the microphone and causing that loud pop noise. You definitely want to have one of these for every time you record vocals. The second tip is to always maintain a constant volume while recording. Doing this makes sure that you can raise the volume of your recording as high as you want without having to worry about clipping. Now, clipping would occur if you said one word that was really loud. If you wanted to add emphasis to it, that level would shoot above the ceiling of your recording. Your volume can only go so high without going over the ceiling, and whenever you go over the ceiling, that causes clipping. So one thing to do is just always maintain you have a constant volume or a constant speaking level, because if you're sending your track off to get mastered, or if you're mastering it yourself, the less of those peaks you have to deal with, the less compression, the less limiting, the less clipping you're going to have to worry about in the future. So that's really going to create a more clean overall sound for you. The third step in recording clean vocals is also really easy, and it goes along with the last step that we just went over. Now, right here I have my preamp. This is a Behringer Euphoria UMC 202, and you don't have to have anything special like this, but you need to make sure that when you're recording you avoid clipping at all costs. Now, to demonstrate this, I have my dynamic microphone set up here in my hand, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap my finger on the top of the microphone, and you're going to notice a signal that's coming through. This light is going to show up to help visualize this process of what clipping is, and as you can see right here, it also has a clipping light as well. So when it's at a safe volume, the signal isn't going to be clipping. As you can see, that little light flashes every time I'm tapping the microphone right now. Now, if I were to turn this up way too high, that clipping knob, that clipping light right there will flash to show that the volume is too loud and it's going to come through distorted, actually. This is something that you want to avoid at all costs, and it's something that's not good for your recording or your microphone. So just make sure before you start recording that you just keep your levels low enough so that they're not going to clip, but high enough that you're going to have some nice loud vocals. Because if your track does come through with clipping throughout it, you can't boost the highs to make your sound really crisp and clean, because then all that clipping is also, and all that distortion is also going to come through all distorted, just as much as the vocals are going to come through distorted. So just make sure you're not clipping whatsoever. Step number 4 is all about using a pair of headphones that's not going to bleed into your recording. Now here I have the Sony MDR 7506 headphones, and these are wonderful. The only problem with these is they do bleed, which means when you're listening to whatever track you're playing, it's going to come out of the headphones. So even if you have the headphones on, you're still going to be able to hear whatever's playing through them outside of the headphones. So these are okay to use while recording, as long as you have the volume of the beat or the song or whatever you're recording over quiet enough. So make sure before you start recording that the sound of the headphones isn't going to bleed through into the track. Now, the last tip I have for you guys is to make sure that you record in a room that at least has carpeting. You never want to record in a room that has wood floors or tile floors or anything. And make sure you record in a room that has a lot of things either hung up on the wall, or a lot of furniture, or you can even use acoustic paneling like I have here, and put those up on the wall, because what that'll do is your vocals will echo throughout the room, and that will bleed into the recording, and you'll have to take those out. And you can take out a subtle amount of reverb from the room, but if you have a whole lot of reverb coming from the floors and whatnot, that's very difficult to take out and often can't even be done, and it'll make your vocals sound really cheap and very unprofessional. So if you have a basement you can record in, or a small room, or a closet, closets are perfect for recording, or even you can make what's called a gobo like I have here. I just made this out of 2 pieces of acoustic paneling and a binder, and I just stapled them into the binder. And what this does is it just goes right behind the microphone will be right here, and that stops a lot of the room ambience from behind it, and anything coming this direction and coming to behind the microphone. It's going to stop all that from happening. So there it is, guys, 5 tips on how you can make your vocals sound cleaner. Hopefully I helped you. These were all tips that I noticed in the time that I've spent mixing and mastering. So if it was helpful, please leave a like. If you have any questions, comment them. I would be glad to answer any questions that you have. And please leave tips for future videos in the comment section below. So thank you very much, guys, and as always, God bless you.